What's good, y'all? It's Bez, and I know you guys see the title of this video. This is something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while now, and I've been kind of trying to relay it across the comment sections of YouTube videos, but I feel like it would be more impactful if I kind of just sat here and talked about it myself. I hope it's not terrible audio quality because it's really windy outside right now, and yeah, hopefully it's just not messing up the audio. So let's get into the main point of this video. I know you guys see the title, the issue with Hamza. Now, before I get into anything I want to discuss, any criticism I have, let me preface this by saying that a lot of the principles and values that Hamza preaches in his videos are very noble, are very smart, are things you should definitely follow in terms of, focusing on your well-being, putting time in, work into yourself, being happy, being by yourself, taking care of your mental health. A lot of stuff that I genuinely think you guys should pay attention and listen to and learn from. And I want to say like a majority of his content is that way, right? I'd probably argue 90% of the information he's telling you guys is that way. But there is that 10% where I feel like it's very limiting and kind of putting people in a box, and at the same time can also make people unhappy. And this isn't a problem that just Hamza has. I don't think that this is like just a thing that he struggles with and doesn't correctly relate to his viewers. I think a lot of self-improvement YouTubers could arguably struggle with this, and because a lot of their own personal biases come into the video, right? If certain things help them or harm them more than they helped or harmed other people, they're going to emphasize those traits. So things like video games, things like movies, watching TV, sports, watching sports, whatever it is, things like that for Hamza are things that probably limited him to becoming the person that he is today, right? These are things that held him back probably more than it did for other people. And the main point I'm trying to get to here is this whole concept that you shouldn't be playing video games, you shouldn't be watching movies, you shouldn't be on the internet, you shouldn't be on social media ever, and stay away from that as much as possible. I don't necessarily agree with. Now, I do agree with the fact that these are things that you should definitely be limiting yourself to, right? Especially if it's something you're struggling with now. If you can't seem to get off the game, if you can't seem to stop watching anime all day, every day, right? If this is something you're struggling with and it's taking up a majority of your time, definitely. These are definitely things that you want to cut out from your life, at least for the short term. But this whole concept that he preaches of don't ever play video games, don't watch a movie, he takes a lot of pride in the fact that he hasn't played a video game in 285 days, or he hasn't watched a movie in 3 years, right? And, well, to each their own. I can't blame him. If that's something he doesn't like to do, then he doesn't like to do that. But you guys don't have to follow that exact formula, right? If watching movies, if watching TV shows, playing video games is something you like to do, go ahead and do it. Just make sure that you take care of all your responsibilities first. And this is something I learned from my mother that she's preached to me since day one, and I've definitely, taken it to heart and lived my life that way. If you've completed all your responsibilities for the day, for whatever the time period is, for the week, whatever you got to structure your life as, if you completed all your responsibilities, if you've done all the good habits, if you've done everything that you need to do, go ahead and watch TV. Go ahead and play video games, right? If it's a Monday and you worked out, you went to your job, you meditated, you went out and got groceries, you went ahead and read, did all these things that you needed to do, and there's still 3 or 4 hours left in the day for you to, you don't really know what to do. It's okay. It's okay to play a little bit of video games before you get ready for your bedtime routine, right? The only time that these things become a problem is when you're avoiding responsibilities and avoiding your goals in order to do these things. When you forego all these things that you actually want in life and you're struggling with to do these things, that's the only time that these things become a problem. And that's the one concept I want to preach to you guys. It's okay to take weekends off, take a Saturday off, and just spend the day watching an anime you want to catch up on, right? If you've Monday through Friday have done all the tasks that you needed to do, have been productive, have been, living healthy, eating good, taking care of all your chores, responsibilities, doing everything you're supposed to do, there is no problem with watching some anime on a Saturday, right? Nothing wrong with that. You don't have, it's not a bad habit. You're not wasting your time doing that stuff. Because another thing that I don't think people mention a lot, especially in the self-improvement sphere, is that when you go out and talk to other people, when you go out and interact with other people, a lot of people don't always think like us in terms of always being productive and doing this stuff. They like to watch TV. They like to play video games. They like to watch movies. So if that's something that you like to do, but you never do it, you're going to talk to somebody and they're going to be like, oh, have you seen the new Batman movie? You're going to be like, nope, I haven't watched the movie in 3 years. Like, oh, you play this new video game? Nope, I haven't watched that in movies in 4 years. Like, it's going to limit a lot of things you could talk about with certain people because, like, at the end of the day, you have to realize that other people do these things, right? They're not as keen to the self-improvement habits as we are, right? They're not going to want to talk about going to the gym and meditating and things like that. Like, sometimes people want to talk about books or entertainment or art, and if you're not well versed in this stuff, you can't keep a conversation with these people going, or maybe you can, but it's just a bit harder. And it's like, it's not like a cool thing, you know what I mean? It's not like you haven't watched TV in 3 years or you haven't played video games in X amount of months. That doesn't necessarily make you cool, because it really depends what you're doing with the rest of that time, right? I know people who watch a lot of anime, who watch movies, who play video games, that are more productive than a lot of people who don't do that stuff, right? So it's really not about not doing these things. It's not about you can't eat unhealthy, you can't do this, that. It's about 99% of the time doing this other stuff, right? It really doesn't matter. People like Hamza, going back to him, he likes to go out to the club, do different degenerate activities, right? So if your degenerate activity of choice is video games, go ahead and do that. Don't let anybody stop you from what you like to do. The only thing that you have to remember at the end of the day is that you need to make sure that you have your responsibilities and priorities in check. And at the end of the day, that's it. You're doing what you need to do. You're pursuing a goal. You're getting to a place where you want to be, and you're working hard, right? If you do all those things, make sure, check everything off your checklist, do healthy habits, work towards your goals. After you finish with all that, for a day, for a week, however you want to structure it, you could do whatever you want. You know what I mean? It's like people really trip about, making sure you can't do this, you can't do it. Life shouldn't be like that. You should be able to enjoy these things in life. And that's really the one concept I want to preach to y'all, to make sure you get through your head. Life is a balance, and it's okay to enjoy some stuff that's not always productive. You don't have to be working hard 24/7 doing something, right? You don't have to lay down in bed and feel bad because you're not doing anything, or you wanted to scroll on Twitter for 20 minutes for the first time all day, right? It only becomes a problem when these things become excessive and start interfering with your goals, habits, and your things that you need to do and your responsibilities. But other than that, you should do whatever you want. Some people like to ride bikes. Some people like to play piano. Whatever it is that you want to do, you should develop skills and things of that nature. But for fun, it's okay. You did everything that you said you were going to do, everything that you needed to do, everything in order to better yourself, all the habits, whether you do one habit a day, whether you do two extra, whatever the case is. It's okay to live your life. That's all I want you guys to remember. And again, this isn't going particularly just for Hamza, but I just seen him talk about how bad video games are, how bad TVs are. He's talked about how watching sports is as bad as watching The Hub, which is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But I'm not going to get too much into that. But as you could tell, like, it makes no sense, right? Like, watching sports the same as watching the bad stuff, not even close. But And that's the whole concept of toxic self-help culture that I don't want you guys to fall into. Self-help and self-improvement is more about just building good habits and becoming a better person overall. You don't want this self-help thing to consume you and overall dictate everything you do in your life. This is not the only content you want to be watching, because just like some of this other stuff can brainwash us, so can self-help. If that's the only thing you're seeing, if that's the only things you're learning about, you kind of forget about how other people are and their values, and how just because they're different from yours, that doesn't make them bad or not okay. So that's kind of the one thing I wanted to remind y'all of. I know this wasn't particularly an attack at Hamza, and I don't want it to be, but this is something that he does preach, and I know a lot of people like to follow, is that don't play video games, don't watch movies, don't do this, don't do that. It's okay to do this stuff, guys. I'm telling you, it's not as serious as you may think. It's just about developing good habits, having responsibilities, and chasing your purpose around these things that make your life balanced and exactly able to do these things without feeling guilty. I watch anime. I watch TV. I watched a movie yesterday. It was a Saturday. Like, do you think that Monday through Friday I'm not doing anything with my life? I'm just sitting there watching movies all day? If that was, that would be a problem. But I'm not doing that. So it's okay that I, took a day off and watched some anime, played some games. Like, don't take it so seriously, guys. It's really not. It's really, life should not be a pain for you. In terms of self-improvement, your self-improvement lifestyle should not be hurtful. You shouldn't feel like, oh my God, I can't believe I never have to do this. Just mix it in. Mix it in. Don't abandon the stuff you really, really love because somebody else is telling you to do it, and that's toxic, right? Just make sure that you implement the good things around it, and you'll be fine. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. This video is probably super long, but I'm not editing it, so we'll see how this works. I don't really do this type of content, but I just felt like this is something I should talk about. So hope y'all have a blessed rest of your day. Take care of yourselves, and see you on the next one. Bow.